Welcome, namaste. We are getting ready for the yoga class. I'm just going to check you can see the mat. I think so, because it's always a bit of a challenge to create the right space, and I think that's why I have it on vertical rather than portrait, because it's a little bit easier to get everything in when it's vertical. Probably the other way is better, I don't know. It's a small flat and narrow flat, but high ceilings. So welcome to my living room. Oh, hello, it's so nice to see you again. Really nice to say hello to you. If you're on Instagram, I can see you're waving and saying hello. If you're on Facebook, I can't necessarily see you. So if you're on Facebook, I think if you write a comment, I should be able to see who's on. So if you're on Facebook, just put a comment in the comment box, and I can say hello to you. Yeah, hello. And you know what's so wonderful? Like now I have my friends in, that used to come to classes with me. That's no longer in Streatham, and obviously no one is is going to the yoga classes in Streatham because we're all in our own living room, or maybe you're in the garden. But I have my friends from Italy, from Mexico here as well. And Rachel is here as well, Karina is here. So it's really, really nice to have you on. We will start in a moment, but I just want to check in with you. And if you have anything, this is obviously, I can't see you. Those of you who said hello, I know you. But, with any yoga practice, this is your body. It's your practice. Hello. And your practice. It's your body. And I think that's, for me, one of the wonderful things about yoga is that we learn to listen to our own bodies. So you are your own best teacher. So I will guide you through this sequence, and then you check in with yourself, how you're feeling, and you can completely ignore what I'm saying and just do your own thing. You can come to child's pose at any time as well, so that's always an option. So your body, your responsibility. If there are any pregnant yoginis in the room, then a lot of what we will do today is core-based, so really be very conservative how you practice, especially if this is kind of new to you. And I have a more kind of a class that accommodates for pregnancy on a Saturday. It's not a pregnancy class that everyone is welcome, but it's more accommodating to the pregnant body. So if you are on Facebook, welcome. I can't see you on, so if you want to just say hello and how you're feeling today, just put it in the comment box and I can see you in the space. And if I know you, I can kind of accommodate if I need to accommodate. And otherwise we are soon ready to go. So just while we are kind of starting up, if you have yoga blocks, then bring your yoga blocks with you. If you have yoga blocks, you might not need the yoga blocks, but if you have them, they're nice to have around. So if you have 2 of them and they're the same size, that's perfect. So if you have your yoga blocks, then take them as well. And I think we'll just start sitting actually. So I will just take a block to sit. And again, you may not need it, but sitting on something, as we are sitting down, you might just want to sit on a couple of cushions. You may not need to sit on anything, which is fine as well. And we will start sitting, but before we start, if you're joining us on Facebook, just write a little comment in the comment box, and hopefully I should be able to see you and see who's in the room. You can just say hello. You can say how you are. And otherwise I can't see who's on. So I don't think I can can see it anyway. I can see that there's a certain amount of people watching, but I can't actually, no, I can't see who it is. So say hello in the box. But if you're settled, then we will start, and we can simply start by resting. That's the thing. Hello. The thing, especially on Facebook, I can see your name, which is wonderful. And it's so nice to see the names on the, on Instagram, because you never know, it's not necessarily your name that's on, but now I know. So nice to see you, Tamara, as well. So, and Caroline is on as well. And Caroline, again, if you're a new mom, we will work on the core. So again, be mindful. I know this is an area that a lot of new or newish mothers are connected with. And for those of you who are not so new, hello, Malcolm is here as well, so that's great. For those of you who are still healing from pregnancy and childbirth, just really be mindful. This is not a push-up or sit-up practice or anything, but really start to just feel that gentle pull in, or the gentle connection to your womb space, for those of you who need to be a bit mindful of that area of the body. So just to let you know, we might just have the doorbell on, but I have my glamorous assistant. My husband will open up, and it might happen now, so we'll see. So otherwise, rest one hand, well, maybe rest both hands on the abdomen. And you can close the eyes. And as you exhale, just exhale completely. You can sigh out. So for a few moments, feel the breath as if you can inhale into the abdomen and exhale it out. Anna, it's wonderful to see you as well. That's been a long time as well. So again, just that deep breath into the abdomen. So we're just sitting, if you're just joining us, we're sitting in a comfortable seat, and the hands are resting on the abdomen. You could even imagine the navel center, so where your belly button is, that you can breathe into the belly button, or that area. And just exhale it out. And just stay with this breath for a little while. So it's just to settle onto the mat. You have arrived on the mat. You're just breathing and connecting to how you're feeling, what your body is like today, your energy. But perhaps today, as you inhale to the abdomen, that's the focus. You inhale, the diaphragm expands, and you can feel that expansiveness of the belly. And as you exhale, the diaphragm lifts up, so the abdomen can draw back in again. And so again, if you are pregnant, this is that breath you'll just work with. If you're still just sensitive around the abdomen and the pelvic floor, again, this is what you're working with. That deep breath in, strong exhale. And as you start to exhale a little bit deeper, you can start to feel the pelvic floor and the lower abdomen lift in and up. So you're not squeezing the pelvic floor. It's not necessarily a strong Mula Bandha or Uddiyana Bandha. The Mula Bandha lifting through the pelvic floor, Uddiyana Bandha, that inhale of the abdomen lifting in and up. But it's a taste of it. when we exhale, the breath moves out. We ignite that Manipura chakra, the navel center. The inhale will come in all on its own. So we are going to fire this up a little bit, and we'll come into Kapalabhati breathing. So again, if you stay with the breath we're doing now, that's how you're going to stay. Kapalabhati is a skull shining breath, and it's a quicker, more dynamic version of what we're doing. So the breath in Kapalabhati, you can keep one hand on the belly or both hands if that feels good. But the out breath is short and sharp. So the out breath, the belly tucks in, and then you relax. The in breath comes in on its own. Relax, the in breath comes in on its own. So if this is new to you, then that's all you're going to do. Just in your own time, just get that. Exhale. Inhale on its own. So just continue with this if you are new. If you've done this practice before, we can really fire it up, and you can do this so much quicker. Now you can sit in any position like this. You can even sit on a chair. But as we start to move, we need to find a bit more movement in the body. So if you're used to this breath, we'll take a deep breath in together. Just exhale it all the way out through the nose. Breathe in, and then we start. So you keep that exhale, 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 and you let the body just relax for a moment to take the breath in. And slow down the breath. Slow it down, exhale it all the way out. And then let the in breath come in all on its own. Normal breath out. Normal breath in. Wonderful. If you're lightheaded, feel dizzy, you might want to take an extra couple of breaths. Otherwise, we'll do one more round. So your variation. Let's take a deep breath in. Normal breath out. Deep breath in to start. So you continue that short exhale, exhale, exhale. The breath will come in. You exhale, relax, the breath comes in. Exhale, breath comes in. Exhale, breath comes in. Exhale. Continuing that rhythm. The movement is in the abdomen, the diaphragm lifts up, the belly draws in. So that's a movement. You're not moving your shoulders, you're not moving your head, you're not moving the whole body. Just feel that. Okay, so some of you find it difficult to find the stream. Hopefully you will be okay. There should be connection. Is it better now, Karina? The connection should be okay. So keep that movement going. Exhale, exhale, exhale. Clearing the sinuses, clearing all that stuff that's in our heads. So letting it go, go, go. Slow down the breath. Taking a breath in. Normal exhale. And then just a natural breath. Slowing it down. Beautiful. So I hope some of you are fine with the streaming. That's a thing live, and however many people are on Facebook and Instagram and whatever else is going on. So just a few breaths, the inhale, the exhale. Bring the palms together in front of your heart in a prayer. And just find again that comfortable seat, hands at your heart. And so we ignite the fire, we rise up. And from our hearts, we will offer a single Om. So we'll breathe in together, the exhale, that long breath out. but through the mouth, sounding an om, or just through the mouth. So let's breathe in together. And so when you're ready, we'll meet on the hands and knees. And so if you had streaming issues, are you okay again? And if you joined us on Facebook, just send a little note, and then we are on our mats. And I will be on the mat as well. So finding yourself back on the hands and knees. Spread your fingers out wide, so we always like that strong foundation. Press down through the hands, almost lift up into your shoulders so you're not collapsing, but you're lifting up into the shoulders. Just hug your navel slightly in, just so you come into more of a neutral back. So you're not rounding the back, but it's more of a neutral back. So we always have that stability and structure. So from here we'll breathe. And our breath today will be that we inhale to look up, so feel the sitting bones rising, and then exhale, just like that long exhale, the pelvic floor, the abdomen lifts, you can drop the head, inhale, look up, exhale, rounding in. So do that a couple of more times, but really feel that exhale, and as you exhale, feel the pelvic floor muscles, the lower abdomen lifting in and up. So it's like we connect to our roots again and to that inner fire. And that's what we'll connect with today. So last week was all the opening of the hips, that watery element. Today we are connecting to our inner fire. Perfect, lovely. I'm glad you can see me again. So let's take this a little bit deeper. Inhale and look up. Lift your right foot towards the ceiling. Exhale, draw the knee to the nose. Inhale, looking up. Exhale, hug it in. One more time. Inhale, look up. Exhale, hug it in and stay here, rounding the back. You lift between the shoulder blades. So you spread the shoulder blades away from each other. Your arms are super strong and straight. Keeping the knee by your nose, you'll straighten your back leg. Keep pressing into the back leg really, really strongly. Then we'll lift that right leg all the way towards the ceiling, or however far it goes. It doesn't need to come far. Keep the toes pointing down. Downward dog. One-legged downward dog. So let's do the same movement from here. Exhale, shift your knee forward towards your nose, shoulders over the heels of the hands. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, hug it in. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hug it in. This time you'll step the right foot between the hands. Press into the ball of the left foot. Arms towards the sky. Now in any of these variations, you can drop that left knee to the floor. That's always an option. Extend your heart forward. Bring the fingertips to the floor. Create length. That right sitting bone draws back. Right arm to the ceiling. Spinal twist. And we like that movement of the spinal twist. Sometimes to open the chest. But sometimes we can almost feel that activation at the navel center and the solar plexus. So again, these places of fire, strength and power. Bring the hand to the floor, downward dog, or anytime a child's pose. So child's pose, your knees are on the floor, and you can sit to the heels, and you can simply rest. So your choice, child's pose, downward dog, or you can flow. So if you want to flow forward into a plank pose, exhale, lower halfway or all the way. Inhale, cobra pose or upward facing dog, and everyone downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in and out. Deep breath in and out. Bring the knees to the floor. We are back on our hands and knees. Inhale, left leg to the ceiling, look up. Exhale, hug it in. Inhale to lift up. Exhale to hug it in. So just in your own rhythm. And so when we do this movement, think again, it's not just swinging your leg around, but it's that lifting and hugging in. We're going to keep coming back to that. So we really connect to that inner fire, the fire of transformation, the sacred fire, our inner power, our light. Next time your left knee is by your nose, you're going to stay here. Really press into your hands, lift out of your shoulders, or up into your shoulder blades rather. Straighten that back leg. Inhale, left leg behind you, lift it off the floor. Exhale, knee to the nose. Inhale, reach up and away from you. Exhale, hug it in. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hug in. This time that foot comes all the way between the hands. Stay on the ball of the right foot, arms to the sky. And again, you're welcome to drop that right knee to the earth. Find a bit of length, so we are hugging all that in, a little bit of openness as well. And we'll keep that openness as you extend your heart forward, bring the fingertips to the floor, spinal twist, left arm to the sky. Bring the hands to the floor, downward dog or a child's pose. So from here again, staying in your downward dog or child's pose, you can inhale into your plank pose. Lower down, inhaling into a back bend, and we meet everyone in a downward facing dog. Beautiful. So from here we'll step the feet mat distance apart and walk the hands back to the feet in a standing forward bend. You can bend your knees so it's almost as if you want to have your torso between your legs. So having the knees bent is absolutely fine. Just seeing who's here. A few more people have joined, so welcome. Lovely to see you. So if you just join, you can just take a few breaths and find yourself on the mat. And so from here we can bend the knees, forearms to thighs, as if you are almost like in a chair pose. If you have knee issues, you're welcome to stay here. Otherwise you come all the way into malasana, yogic squat. And actually, we'll come into yogic squat. So if sitting in the squat doesn't work in your knees or your ankles, you can sit on the floor with your feet out in front, and you can sit on a block as well. That's absolutely fine. But whatever variation you're in, we'll get that little pulsation of the breath again. So if you finger your arms to the inside of your knees, you can hug the knees into your arms into your knees, and just round the back a bit. That's your exhale. Inhale, lift your chest, and you can almost stick your bum out. Inhale, hug it in, feel a lift through the pelvic floor, and open up on the inhale. So really feel that exhale of hugging, hugging, hugging in, rounding the back, bowing the head, and then release the pelvic floor, lifting your heart, finding space in the abdomen. Just one more time, hugging in. And even if you're on the floor, you do the same thing. So from here, press your feet to the ground. In your own way, come all the way to standing. Hands at the center of the heart. And we'll flow again. So press the feet to the ground. Feel that connection to the earth. Crown of the head rising. Inhale, reach your arms to the sky. Exhale, bring the hands all the way down through the center line towards the earth. And again, bend the knees if you prefer. Inhale, lengthen the spine. So you're in a half forward bend. The hands can be on the floor or on your shins. Exhale, fold it even deeper. Let's just do that half forward bend again. Inhale to extend. Exhale to fold. Walk into your downward facing dog again. Spread your fingers. Almost feel like the inner elbows wants to point towards each other, even towards your thumbs. Feel that support all the way through your upper arms into your shoulders. Hugging in, yet having openness in the armpits. Inhale, come forward to your plank pose. Exhale, lower halfway or all the way. Inhale, cobra or upward dog, so your variation. Downward facing dog, beautiful. From your downward dog, extend that right leg behind you. Draw the knee to the nose. Step the foot between the hands, back foot flat. We come into warrior two pose. So the right thigh bone rotates out. You can have a wider step because you want stability. Extend your arms out to the sides, so having length and extension. Bend the right knee as just a perfect variation for you. Keep lifting through the lower belly, keeping stability, strength and power. Just breathe. Now interlace your fingers behind your back and then think of that exhale of tailbone to pubic bone rounding the back. We're going to fold to the inside of the right leg. So I'll show it from the forward way. So feeling that exhale, rounding in, and you are folding to the inside of the right leg. But for support, you're staying here, but for support, feel the pelvic floor lifting. Feel that exhale, the navel draws in. So rounding in really strongly. Thigh bones are hugging in for stability. And you're still breathing. And so because some of us don't have so much space, the right hip moves to the side and you take it back in again. Release the hands to the front of the mat. That back heel comes off the floor. Downward dog or child's pose. Or again, your variation, you can come forward to a plank pose, lower down, into a back bend, and downward dog. Beautiful. So let's enjoy on the other side. Lift that left leg. Draw the knee to the nose, hugging in. Really lift up into the shoulder blades. You're rounding your back. You're straightening the arms. Step the foot between the hands, back foot flat. You can take that openness in the hips. We're facing slightly towards the kind of right front corner of the mat. Arms extend, warrior two. And so you just stay here breathing, finding your variation. And we like to think about the warriors. You know, this is a peaceful warrior. But to be a warrior, you need a bit of fire. And the fire also represents focus. So we think of the drishti maybe to your left fingertips. The fire of transformation. So we might have a lot of fire in us because we are angry or frustrated or resentful. That kind of fire that brews and kind of burns us out in the end. So fire can be destructive. Interlace your fingers behind your back, lift your chest, but feel that exhale through the pelvis and the lower abdomen as you fold to the inside of your left leg. So again, staying in that variation, you are to the inside of your leg. You're not resting your left shoulder on your left thigh. You're to the inside of your leg. So if you need a much wider space, not a longer space, but a wider space, you go ahead. But fire is also transformative. You know, that fire can burn things down so other things can grow. So other things can be created. we use fire for cooking. You know, we need fire to cook, so material that we wouldn't be able to eat otherwise is now nourishing because we cook it. This is what we think about in the digestive fire, the alchemy. You know, it transforms whatever food we put into our bodies into nourishment and nurturing in the body. And the fire will also create the waste and help that to move out of our bodies. You're still breathing? Still there? See, I can't see you, so you might just be chilling in a child's pose, which is absolutely fine as well. Release the hands to the front of the mat, downward dog, child's pose, breathe. Really good. I know that's not a favorite. I know it's easy to find the ways to cheat in it as well. You know, resting the shoulder on the leg. But to go through the fire is transformation. The sacred fire of transformation. If you choose to, you can flow, so you can come forward into your plank pose, lower down, inhaling to a back bend. And let's meet again in a downward facing dog. Really nice. And so this time from your downward dog, let's step the feet wide apart again. Walk your hands back and we'll meet in our squat. Bending the knees, either you sit in your malasana, or if you prefer, or your knees are telling you to do so, you sit on your blocks, feet on the floor, knees pointing up. Again, feel that lift with the chest, finding a little bit of space. And so usually in this variation we want that nice long back. So actually the sitting bones spread apart, the tailbone releases. So that's kind of the variation we generally like. But again, we'll just play around with that of the exhale, hugging in and rounding. And the movement is really tailbone to pubic bone, and then the spine curves and the shoulders are moving apart. So you're hugging your sternum, your chest, your heart in between your shoulder blades. So again, you can take a deep breath in. Exhale, hug it in. Inhale to rise. Exhale, hug it in. Inhale to rise. Exhale, hug it in. Beautiful. So we'll keep that kind of movement as we rise back up into standing. Turn your toes forward, and maybe together we'll come into chair pose. So either feet underneath your hips, or if you prefer feet together, we'll go ahead. Now we'll get that same movement in a moment that we did hands and knees, that exhale hugging in, inhale opening up. We'll add arms to it. So the inhale will be that we open up. The exhale, we come into more of a neutral position, hugging the front ribs in, pubic bone to navel. So we are coming in more into a neutral or flat back, which is a bit of an extended lengthening. The inhale will be openness. The exhale, we hug in. But as we exhale, what I want you to feel is that lift with the pelvis and the abdomen. So it's not just swinging your arms and moving your hips. It's the movement of the breath from the diaphragm, the pelvic diaphragm and the respiratory diaphragm. So let's enjoy. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, hugging in. Inhale, lift up. This is in chair pose. Exhale, hugging in. Feel that fire. Inhale, exhale. So continuing this on your own rhythm. And so your fire might just be that you feel angry or frustrated. You ignite that fire, you release it, it transforms into something else. Either it's activism, sharing it all out, writing it, making transformation, or if you feel depressed and that you can't do anything, allow that fire to transform that lethargy and depression. So feel the fire rising. Next time the arms above the hips, stay here. Interlace your fingers behind you, lift with the chest. Keep your knees bent and we'll fold over the legs. So if you're super mobile, you're welcome to straighten the legs, but you want to keep your chest and your belly on your thighs. Relax the jaw, the tongue, the neck. Release the hands to the earth. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, fold it all the way. Downward facing dog. So now we'll meet on the hands and knees. And we'll come into a half chaturanga. So we'll start to feel the strength and the support of our arms. So when we move into this variation, I'm coming closer to the screen, we'll find that neutral back again. So we are not collapsing down, we are not rounding up, we are somewhere in between. We'll step the knees a bit further back. So if you notice your shoulders came back as well, you take them over the heels of your hands. Your hands are shoulder distance apart. So Chaturanga Dandasana is a danda, it's a staff, it's a stick, so we can imagine tailbone to the crown of the head. We'll shift forward, elbows are hugging into the rib cage. So if your bum sticks up, take it down. If your pelvis drop, lift it up. Shift back up again. Hugging the elbows in, the heart extends forward. Keep that tailbone down, coming back up again. So we'll keep that movement fluid, but we'll come in from a child's pose. So you can sit to your heels, arms extend out in front, shift forward, elbows hug in, and shift back again. So just continuing this movement. Basically what you want to feel is in your triceps, and you move from your core. So again, if you suddenly notice that the pelvis drops or your bum sticks up, then you find your neutral position. You don't have to come parallel to the floor with your arms. It might just be a little movement, but you don't want to have your shoulders on the floor. The lowest you will come down is shoulders and elbows and hips in one line. Wonderful. So let's enjoy a child's pose, knees wide apart this time. Rest into the floor and breathe. You could even have your hands in a prayer. So allowing this to just be a space, to offering that fire, that heat to the earth. Your sacred fire, the fire of transformation. So what is that fire, the sacred fire? What is it brewing? What is it transforming? That fire rises up to our heart, and we can manifest that power and strength from our Manipura chakra at the navel or the solar plexus, the sense of truth, of power. It rises to the heart, so our sacred heart fire, the place of love and compassion. Fire always moves up. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Let's shift back to the hands and knees. From the hands and knees, step the right foot between the hands. Lift the chest up. Find that little bit of a neutral spine again. We'll come into our spinal twist. So your variation, we'll start with left hand to the floor or to a block, right arm to the sky. Another variation would be palms together, left elbow to the right thigh, and you open up, you create length and space. Again, you're not collapsing, you're finding space. Another variation, left arm to the outside of your right leg, and then right arm to the sky, or you could choose to bind. And with all the variations, you can straighten that back leg. So find your variation, take a few moments here to breathe where you can breathe. Letting that fire just release what we no longer need. Or ignite the fire to bring out your passions, your loves, whatever you want to ignite in your heart. Release the hands to the floor, straighten the back leg, downward dog or a child's pose. Or you inhale into a plank pose. Then either garudasana or to the floor. Inhale, lift through the heart. Downward facing dog. Beautiful. Let's step the left foot between the hands, right knee to the ground. Reach your arms. And then our spinal twist. So we can bring the right hand to the floor, left arm to the sky. You can bring your palms together into a prayer, or the right arm to the outside of the leg. So if you choose to do that, really feel that you have the space to do it. If your hip moves out or you're halfway there, be in a place where you can really embrace that space and play around with it a bit. Arm can come to the sky. Take a few more breaths. Really good. Release the hands to the floor, downward dog or a child's pose. And again, your variation. You can stay in your downward dog or child's pose, or you can inhale into a plank pose, lower down on the exhale, inhaling into a back bend, and that strong exhale lifting into a downward dog. So again, you can stay where you are, or in your own rhythm, flow one or twice more. Moving with the breath. Lovely. And so let's meet in a downward facing dog. And from your downward dog, walk your feet to the front of the mat, standing forward bend. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, fold it all the way. Inhale, rise all the way to standing. And hands to the center of the heart. Beautiful. And so we talk about the fire rising, and we will rise above it all. So we'll come into eagle pose, garudasana. So in garudasana, again, our arms are the wings, and if we think of the scapula, that's really part of our wings, and we can really stretch them far away from each other. So there's potential for a lot of movement here, and that's what we'll engage with. Breathing into the back body, really opening into our back body. We have created space. So take the arms out to the side, and we'll give ourselves a hug, right arm on top of the left. And even here you can spread your shoulders apart, shoulder blades apart, so have space. From here we'll lift the fingertips, so maybe the back of the hands are touching, or left fingertips into the right palm. So if this gives you, if this is uncomfortable, or you get you can't breathe or whatever else, then just bring your palms together, allowing the elbows to move towards each other. From here, whatever variation, bend your knees as if in a chair pose. Take your left thigh over your right thigh. And again, you can stay here, maybe hug a little bit deeper, maybe cross the leg one more time. And so you're hugging into your center, but you're opening to your back body. So all that thigh is still at your center, but it gives openness and space to breathe, to move, to fly. Eagle pose, the Garuda. So stay for a couple of more breaths. You just have to move out of the way a little bit. We'll uncross the legs and take that left leg all the way behind us. Extend the heart forward, so it's a variation of warrior three pose. So keep that left leg stretching back, your heart forward. And slowly rise back up. Beautiful. Release the arms. Shake your legs out a bit. And we'll enjoy on the other side. So extend the arms out. Now I have to remember which way we're going to do it. So left arm on top of the right. Give yourself a nice hug. Finding space. Again, crossing the arms, your variation. So left arm on top of the right. Or you just bring the palms together. We'll bend the knees as if in a chair pose. You might even stay here. Or we can take the left thigh over the right, hugging in, maybe cross one more time. So really finding this structure of hugging in, but so you stay here, but finding that stability through our navel center. It's not a sit-up, it's not completely relaxed. There's support in that sacred fire. So stay here breathing. You might come in and out of the pose, which is absolutely fine. Garuda, this mythical creature that looks like half man, half bird. More than an eagle. We call it eagle pose because there's no other word, but more majestic, bigger than an eagle. And that's us. So let's take the Garuda flying. So you can take that, uncross the right leg. Extend the right leg behind you, toes are pointing down. You don't have to be parallel to the floor, but from your crown to that right leg, it's like a straight line. So even if you're diagonal, that's absolutely fine. Feeling that breath in your back body, feeling a bit of lightness and openness. Wonderful. Release back, both feet on the ground. You can shake your arms, you can shake your legs a little bit. Maybe I will come into a squat again. So your variation of a squat. You can bring your palms together, interlacing the fingers, elbows together, just circle the wrist. You can sit however you like. So if sitting in a squat just doesn't work, or sitting with your feet out doesn't work, just enjoy your variation. Wonderful. So interlacing the fingers, stretching the heels of the hands away from you, all the way above the head, and release the hands. Beautiful. So we love the birds. I love the birds. So we'll find the birds manifested in our yoga. We'll come into bakasana or crow pose. So not as majestic as the eagle, but also a powerful animal. It's an arm balance. So again, for those of you who are not arm balancing at the minute, you keep working on that kind of hugging in, feeling that lift with the pelvis, the abdomen. You could even do this lying on the floor. So you could lie on your back and come into that kind of squat of hugging everything in. So if you are in your postpartum period, that might be all you're going to do, or do it seated but not in malasana. If you're further along, or not healing from birth, but you can't be on your wrist or your shoulders, you can lift up, so feeling that lift through the shoulders and even through the tailbone, just lifting slightly. So you get that hugging in. The rest of us are going to do this, but balancing on our arms. So we think of the Chaturanga Dandasana arms, where we were hugging in and shifting forward. That's the arms we want. The arms want to move out to the side. You hug them back in, because your the back of your arms, so your triceps, are going to be shelves for your knees. So if you already know bakasana, just play around with it, come up straight away. But I'll talk you through it if you are not sure. So if you're familiar, just play around, come up into your bakasana or crow pose. Otherwise, these will be your feet. Spread them out, hug the elbows in. You are going to come onto your toes, take your knees either just over your elbows or in that dip underneath the deltoid. There's a little dip in your arms. So your choice. You hug in, so again you're hugging the knees in, and then you come to your toes. So you can balance on your toes until you find that space of gravity, your lower abdomen. Then you can lift your toes off the floor. So we'll try again. You might come in and out of this pose a few times. So you find that little dip, be on your toes, hug it all in, maybe lift one foot, maybe the other foot. Feel your claws on the ground. And finding that balance. So we're going to play around with it for a little while. So taking your time to figure out if your variation is just over your elbows or in that little dip underneath the deltoids. So you find your variation. And it's absolutely fine if you fall out of the pose. So it's that exhale, hugging everything in, and that's that fire that will help to rise up, and we are balancing on our upper arms. And if you're just falling down and you're upset, then you breathe. You can always come into your variation, sitting on the floor, hugging everything in, and the balance can come later. So I might not be able to see you, but I can still encourage you to try again. Another thing that some people like is to use a block to perch on. So if you feel it's difficult to get your knees on your arms, then you can have your block, have your feet on the block, and then there's a little bit more space to find that area of where you want to have your knees. And again, you might just stay here, so just have your toes on your little space, and then feel that lift. So you don't have to come off the floor, but you can still feel that sensation of rising up. So just a few more breaths here. And no rush. If you're there and you're just floating like a crow, you stay there, but once you had enough, you just come into a comfortable seat. Just noticing your breath. So you might sit cross-legged on your heels, maybe again hands on your belly. Feeling all that warmth in the abdomen, that connection to your fire, the fire of transformation, the passionate fire, the fire of yourself, of your truth. So allowing that fire to help transform emotions that you find challenging. So not that they go away, and possibly we need to look at them, but we can transform these emotions or sensations into something we can do something about. We can respond rather than react. Wonderful. So let's come back to the hands and knees. How are your upper arms? Not too achy. Might start getting bruises on the arms from the knees. So let's just one more time. Inhale, look up. Exhale, hug in. The cat-cow movements. Come to a neutral position, sit to the heels. So if that doesn't work, then just come to a cross-legged. We'll only stay here for a moment because we will open into the front body. Now for those of you on Instagram, there's a limit time of 1 hour, and we are kind of moving towards that. So as we come into that, just know if you're on Instagram, I'll switch off, or Instagram will switch off, but I'll switch on straight away. So just so you know, if I disappear, you just have to come back on again. So feel your fire, navel center, the Manipur chakra or the solar plexus, however you feel it. The other hand to the center of your heart. So finding that balance of your core fire, that fire of power, and the fire of your heart, full of love and compassion. So we'll open up. Different options. You can simply take your hands behind you, lift your chest, whether you're cross-legged on your heels, or if you're on your heels, you can lift with the pelvis. And then sit all the way back down. Or come all the way onto your knees. We'll start with the toes tucked under. We'll come into Ustrasana, camel pose. Tailbone grounding you, feel that connection to your core fire, lift your heart center, maybe hands to the sacrum or to the top of the buttocks, lifting your heart. Maybe the hands move down to the heels, or maybe the toes turn back. So allowing that openness to the front body, all that fire we contracted and moving into it. Now we can disperse it, we can move it wherever it needs to go. Slowly rise back up. Take a moment to sit or come into child's pose. We take a couple of breaths here before the second or the next round, so that will be the last round. And if you are, no, we can still do that. Just a few more moments on Instagram. And so we'll come back onto the knees, finding that core fire, the heart fire. Lift with the chest, and again hands to the heels, or to your lower back, or to your blocks. So listening really honestly to your body. What is your expression that is stable, safe, and expressive? Allowing the back body to support you, to rise, to feel that openness in your front body, in your belly, in your heart, in the throat. Slowly sit back down. Child's pose, so you're sitting on the heels, maybe hand to belly, hand to heart. You can close the eyes for a few moments. And so we're just coming to the hour, so I'm gonna, if you're on Facebook, just stay in your meditation, but Instagram will restart in a short moment. Just finding your breath in your meditation. So just taking a few more moments, just sitting here in meditation. Hello, Tamara. So we are still in our meditation. Lisa is back. So just a few more moments here in meditation, just noticing how you feel after all the hugging in, the strength, and then the expression and openness. Good. So we are still sitting in our meditation as everyone arrives back. And Priscilla's back, Malcolm is back. So lovely, just sitting, breathing into our hearts, into our bellies, expansiveness of the inhale, and that softness just coming back to our center on the exhale. So you're not doing a specific breath, you're just breathing. Beautiful. And so extend your legs out in front of you. And you can just shake your legs or circle the ankles. And so we have been hugging in with that rounding of the back, that strength through the core. Now we are folding forward, but just with that softness. So let's just bend the right knee towards us, drop the knee to the side so you are in garudasana. You can have blocks underneath that right thigh if you need to. You can sit on blocks, you can bend your left knee, turn your navel towards your left foot, and just reach through the arms. So just that openness, space after all that hugging in. You're still opening upwards. We're leading from our hearts now, extending forward. And then once that's it, once we can't go any further, the hands will just drop down. So again, your variation, you can simply stay here. If you're super mobile, your head might be on your shin. But this is all the fire you created. That will just release any tension. Not that to go deeper in the pose of the asana, but inside. So here you just breathe. Not pushing, not pulling, just breathing. We'll stay here for a few more breaths. Garudasana. With the left leg forward, right knee releasing out. There's no real effort. It's a sacred fire of devotion and surrendering. Extend through your heart, walk your hands towards you, bend your right knee towards you, extend it out, and then take that left knee towards you, drop it to the side. You can square your heart to your right toes, and again your variation, maybe that knee is bent, your hands are behind you, you can close the eyes and just embrace this variation. Or maybe again that sense of belly to thigh. And just breathe. No effort, just breathing. Closing the eyes. Three more breaths. And then leading from your heart, rise up. Slowly sit all the way up. Left knee towards you, straightening the legs. And you can circle the ankles, releasing the legs, shake them out, whatever you need to do as we move further towards the ground, towards the earth. Interlace your fingers, stretch the heels of the hands out in front, extend your arms to the sky, lengthen the spine as if you could lift your ribcage away from the pelvis. So we have space again and space to breathe. Take a deep breath in, side out as you extend your arms all the way up to the side. We'll just do that twice more. Interlace your fingers, inhale, lift up. Exhale, extend the arms all the way down by your side. Again, inhale, interlocking the fingers, heels of the hands away, rising up. And exhale, releasing down. Beautiful. So we will come to relaxation. And if you have blocks or pillows, then my suggestion is that you come into Supta Baddha. So where you lie down on the floor with the knees bent. So maybe I move on to the mat, closer to the mat. And from here you can bring the soles of the feet together, knees apart. I suggest that you have blocks or cushions underneath your thigh or your knee for support. Even if this is really easy in your body, just have a little bit of support so you feel supported and you can open up. Now if this doesn't work in your knees, in your sacroiliac joint, in your lower back, your choice. You can always just extend the legs out in Shavasana. You can have your knees bent, feet on the floor, maybe knees together, either arms by the side, palms facing up in like Shavasana, or maybe hand to that fire in your belly or the fire of your heart. So find your variation that works in your body. As we're coming to the close of the class, so allowing the body just to settle on the mat. Lying down in Supta Baddha, feet together, knees apart. Or Shavasana, just extending the legs. Sitting here, and I will take you out in a moment, but right now you're just being, breathing, releasing any unnecessary tension that there might still be. And a few moments here of just stillness and breathing. So if you haven't already, then rest one hand on your abdomen, maybe at your navel or the solar plexus, the other hand to the center of the chest. And feel the waves of the breath from the fire of your core, your power, your strength, even the fire of digestion, physically, emotionally, mentally, that sacred fire of transformation. And the fire of your heart, your place of unconditional love, of compassion, of devotion. And even here, imagine the connection between that Manipur chakra, that fire in your navel, and the Anahata chakra at your heart. Every breath there's a connection. Take a deep breath in and out. Deep breath in and let it go. So if you're lying on the floor, bring the knees together. Hug the knees to your chest. And with the knees at your chest hugging in, we'll just come into a spinal twist. So you can drop your knees to your left side, right arm to the right side. You're not pushing or pulling, you're just in a gentle spinal twist. And bring the knees back to the center. And then bring your knees to your right side, left arm behind you. No effort, just letting the body be where it needs to be. Bring the knees back to the center, give yourself a nice hug. And then your choice, you can roll to your right side or to any side for a few breaths. Or you can roll along the spine a few times. So we had all of that strength through the back, so maybe you roll on the spine to come all the way up to a comfortable seat. And from here you can bring your palms to a prayer in front of your heart. And take this moment to connect to your heart fire, your core fire. Offering gratitude for your body, your breath, the time you've taken out to practice today. Time to truly nourish and nurture yourself, which is so important at this time. connecting with our bodies and our breath. So let's conclude with Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, or simply just exhale through the mouth. So let's breathe in together. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste. So thank you so much for joining me for yoga. So this session will be up on the Instagram in 2 videos on Instagram for 24 hours, but it will stay up on Facebook. And I'll put a link on Facebook if you would like to offer a donation to the class. I'm on PayPal, so you can offer a donation there. And if you go to yogaembodied.com, if you go to the classes section, there's also a button there to PayPal. So any donations are gratefully accepted, since this is the only way I'm teaching at the minute, so we don't have the classes physical presence. We are physically distancing, but we are still here beyond time and space. We are in the virtual world. So yes, I'll share that link as well if you feel you want to contribute. But you can contribute as well, like this video, share it with your friends, and that is super helpful as well. But I'm so great. I always think it's so nice to see your names and beyond time and space. Practicing with Priscilla in Mexico is just fantastic. My friend in South London, and all the Streatham peeps and the Streatham people who have moved. So and new friends as well, people I don't know. So say hello to me, send me a comment if you have any specific wishes that you would like to practice, and again, send me something in the comment box. Oh, Jennifer, so lovely to see you. So we haven't practiced forever. See, this is, timetable changes. No, it's not forever, just not this year. But things change so quickly, especially living in London as well. I know things are crazy. So so thank you for coming today and taking time out. I'm really grateful. It's a big honor to be here with you. And very different to teach, but I still love it. Yeah, thank you, Tamara, Caroline. Matt has to come too at some point. So thank you so much. If you have any other comments, just write them in. I'm just sitting here for a moment, so if there are any other comments, then just pop them in. Or even if you just joined and you're like, oh, I didn't make it, or the kids were there and I couldn't practice, whatever it might be, then it is on Facebook, so they stay on Facebook, so you can always watch another time. Your partner can join in, or friends. So share it out, press the share button. Thank you so much. Yeah, it is really an honor. So I don't always know who's on the call, but I still feel you all. I still feel it. So I do think, even if I was very hesitant about teaching online like this, I obviously have the online courses, which is very different. Yeah. But if this is like, you can feel it from my heart, or it's like being back in the capoeira school in Streatham, then it makes my heart just burst. So thank you so much for your comments. It's helpful for me because I can't see you. I can imagine, I can feel your energy, but I obviously can't see how you're doing, and I can't always see who's on the call unless you write comments. So it's super helpful when you do that. Lovely. Yeah. Oh, Caroline, thank you for joining. Yeah, and the good thing, you know, some of you are saying here as well, this is the good thing of this time is that we can practice with each other beyond time zones and different countries and different places in the world, and that's really lovely. So I went to a yoga class on the internet as well yesterday, which was really interesting. A teacher I haven't seen for years probably, and one of my best friends were there as well. So that was quite nice, and she's, you know, in a different part of the country as well. So it still felt like when we used to go to classes together, you know, 5 years ago. So that was really, it's still quite special. Lovely. I'm gonna switch off now, but you can still leave comments. So if you watch this, you know, next week, 6 months later, if you write a comment, hopefully I should see it. So namaste. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah.